So you've been invited to join a fantasy league and you don't know how to play. Here's the thing, you can win it your first year. It's not actually that hard. I'm going to show you some of the tricks I use. We'll get familiar with the drafting software and we'll just talk through like, hey, what's our strategy? How are we going to win this early? Let's pull up our draft strategy or our drafting software and talk through how this looks, get you a little bit familiar with the stuff that you'll be seeing. So here you'll see a spot that shows the draft board. These are the players that are going to be drafted, and the order that will go. Here I've got my face over pick 3, and then on this board there are 12 teams. This is a 12-team league. You might be in a 10-team league. It's not going to change things too drastically. Other sections that you'll see, a list of players. And these players are generally in order of how they should get drafted. Within this list, you might see a little line showing where your pick is. So here I have pick 3. When we go through the draft picks, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10 or 12, and then it will loop back the opposite way. So pick 12 will go again, and in the second round, they'll be the first pick. So I will have pick 3, and then it will come back to me, and in the second round, I'm picking 10th. So on the list of players, you can see it might be pretty small, but I've got a spot saying, here's where your pick is, and then we're going to scroll down, and there will be another line where my next picks are. So you can use that to start to plan things out. In these first rounds, there are going to be some players that we avoid just based on injury concerns or age concerns. So I'm going to start this, and we'll just start talking through it. This is really as easy as it is as how I think of this draft or any draft that I'm doing. In the first couple rounds, I'm just going for safety. So a player I might avoid is right off the top, Saquon Barkley. He's an aging running back. And usually as running backs get past age 27, there's a chance we start to see a sign of slowdown. And if this is going to be one of my most important players, I don't want that risk. So I might avoid Saquon Barkley by a few spots, or I just want someone else to grab him. And like I said, we can just go with the top guy on the board in these first couple rounds. Other players that I might avoid would be another older running back like Derrick Henry, who just got picked 10th here. He's 31. We are expecting the career to end kind of within the next 1 to 2 years. And I just don't want to be the guy who drafted him in the first round when he slows down. Christian McCaffrey is another player I don't really draft a lot. He has a lot of upside, but he has a lot of risk in these first couple rounds. In rounds 1, 2, 3, I don't want a lot of risk. I might also avoid DeVon Achane, who currently is hurt and might miss week 1. You'll see some injuries. Here's a list of, I'm hovering my mouse over Tyreek Hill. It's a red tag that says questionable. Some sites might show a red cross if someone is injured. And typically, you can just avoid them. If you're brand new, it's safer. Just don't draft him. Tyreek Hill is also another player that I would avoid in these first couple rounds. He's 31 years old, which is old for a wide receiver. Last year, he started slowing down. If this is your first year, you probably didn't know that. He started showing signs of age and signs of decline. So that's someone I'm just not drafting. Within these first couple rounds, as we start building out our lineup, you can take the players out of order a little bit to fill out different positions. Our goal here, though, is not to fill out every position on our roster before we start adding bench players. That's a big misconception for new players. We might wait a while before we take our quarterback, and we're not drafting a kicker in defense no matter what until the last 2 rounds of our draft. So in round 2, I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey. He's a wide receiver. You'll see the position next to the names, and they will also have different colors associated with them on different websites. So now we have 1 running back, 1 wide receiver. We're not striving to hit a balance here, but that's the way that it's come up for us. In this spot, again, like I've been saying, we don't have to know players that well. As long as we know some players to avoid and some players to then target in the later rounds, we'll be okay. So within these first 3 rounds, it's really only players that I'm avoiding, and I've called those out. So here I'll take Jonathan Taylor. And now once we get into rounds 4, 5, 6, we're starting to build out a healthy base of players that will start for us, or we're looking at rookies. And if we draft a rookie in this round, then we need to know some safer players later. So let's talk about some of those. Here, we're not drafting a rookie. I'm just going to go with this best player available. This player here, Breece Hall, has fallen to us. You'll see stuff like that in your draft. If there is a player here, he's ranked 34. The next best one is 44. You might be questioning, like, is he hurt? Is something wrong about him? You can usually click on that player and see their card. He's not injured. He's a player that you can draft. I've called out some that I'm not drafting in these rounds, and I'll add a few more. T. Higgins is someone I'm not very interested in drafting, and Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is a player who won't show any issues on his card, but he's not currently practicing right now. He's in a dispute with his team. So we've called out some players in the first couple rounds. I'll rename them. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, DeVon Achane, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, and Terry McLaurin are players you just pass on them, and it's okay. You take the best player available, otherwise pass on them. So here we're at a spot where we have one running back and one wide receiver and 3 running backs. And we want to, because we have that imbalance here in round 5, we want to draft someone that we know is playing and that we know is a general safety player. As we get into these next rounds, we're going to start grouping players as safe and as players with a lot of upside. So here, we're just going to try to grab a safe wide receiver, or we'll find one later. So safe wide receivers, you can go into your queue system, and let's start naming a few and targeting where we can get them. There's a player named Jacoby, Jakobi, Jacoby Myers. He's usually going around 6 or 7. I'm going to pause this because I misclicked. And we're going to remove this. I meant to add him to the queue. And this is what you should be doing as you draft. Have a list of these players, like safe players and high upside players, and come up with a pair of them. So I know that there is Jacoby Myers, who I can put on my queue and target him. You might see something that says ADP, that's average draft position. So I'll be targeting him around pick 80.
You said you were going to come.
Yep, I'll be there in just a minute. Please scoot. I'll come out there in just a minute.
You said you would be there in 1 minute earlier, but that wasn't 1 minute.
Yep. So in this spot in round 5, looking at the rankings, I know that Xavier Worthy is a high upside player. So I'm going to draft him here because if this works out, this can be a league winning upside. So we're going to draft Xavier Worthy and we'll plan to pair him with Jacoby Myers later. That's the type of pairings that we're looking to make. So here we're at the draft. Other upside players are Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden, Ricky Pearsall. These are all wide receivers. Emeka Egbuka. Upside running backs are going to be rookies. Like you'll find running backs that have the rookie tag. Here on this site, it's purple. It may look different on the site you're using, but this is players like TreVeyon Henderson, RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson. And then in these rounds, we're going to start finding some other players that we'll just avoid altogether. So I'll call those up as they come up. Here we're going to draft Xavier Worthy for upside, and we know that we'll try to target someone like Jacoby Myers or Calvin Ridley later. And these names will be in the comments of the video. Stuff that's coming back to us at round 6. Now, I've said we don't need to draft to fill out our lineup, but we should be cognizant of what is available to us. At tight end, here what we see is Mark Andrews is available at some point here with a lot of other options. So I'm going to go for Mark Andrews here. This is called just managing the turn. If I draft a tight end here, this player, there's a chance that, or if I don't draft him, there's a chance that this guy probably doesn't take him. He has a tight end, but then this guy has 2 spots, 2 picks. So he might take them. But if we just grab them here, we'll be happy with whoever else comes back to us because we want to get 1 tight end and 1 quarterback, or 1 tight end and 1 running back, 1 tight end and 1 wide receiver. So we'll just draft the tight end here. There goes a quarterback. That's okay. We like this other quarterback here, or we like this wide receiver with upside. Travis Hunter is a great upside wide receiver that we could consider here. But we also called out on our queue Jacoby Myers as a great safe starting option. So we're going to take him here, or we could take the quarterback. If we scroll down to our next picks, we could take Kyler. If you're new to fantasy and you don't know when you're looking at your quarterback, if it's close, you can just snag him. You're not going to make a mistake taking Bo Nix there, or at least not a mistake that we know. So as we get through these rounds, let's call out some other players that I am suggesting you do not draft. Joe Mixon is currently hurt. We're not going to draft him. Quinshon Judkins, another running back, will be on here somewhere. I'm scanning for him. Here's Joe Mixon. Quinshon Judkins is usually in this 4, 5, 6 range, and we won't be drafting him because he has some legal issues, and we're not sure when he's going to be starting. In rounds 8, 9, and 10, and 11, we're just shooting for league-winning upside. A lot of that is going to be rookies. Do not reach for rookies. Keep coming back to this chart here, and as they come to you, within reason, you can grab them. So here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots. Once you have to scroll down to get them, it's okay to wait. Here, I'm going to go with Matthew Golden, and I'm hoping to see Emeka Egbuka come back to us. Another player I really like here would be Ricky Pearsall. So Egbuka, Pearsall, Golden, these names will all be in the comments. These are names that might not be good to start the year, that we're hoping break out and win in the second half of the year. So if you have any player with a rookie tag, just know that when you draft them, you might need to wait for them to become good. Once we're in rounds 10, 11, 12, 13, we're shooting for, these are all just kind of dart throws. These are all guys we might drop after week 1. So here I'm going to grab a rookie. If you're worried, rookies are safer options as bets. They might not do anything, but we don't need average players here. We want great players. We want them to either be great or nothing. Because greatness wins you your league and you can replace a nothing. We don't want average. We don't want safe. So the easy way to track that, shoot for a rookie. Here we're in round 11. You can also just take a shot on running backs that are in this range. In rounds 11, 12, if no names are jumping out to you, you can go with a running back here. This is showing people drafting kickers and defenses. Like I said, we don't draft a kicker or a defense until our last 2 picks. Once you get into round 12, you can, generally, as I'm looking at these, the things that are safest, or, the things that are the best option, is just take a running back. So I went with Tank Bigsby here, and now we're into our last picks where we will go defense and then kicker. The best way to pick a defense is by looking at their week 1 matchup. So here I know that someone is playing the Saints in week 1, the Cardinals. So I'm just going to go with them. People think that the Saints will be a bad offense. So I'll just draft the defense that's going against them. You should be looking to change your defense almost weekly. So when we're drafting, I'm just drafting someone that has a good matchup in week 1. And then the last one is kicker. And just take the top available kicker, and you'll be fine. There we go. So we've finished our draft. We drafted safe in the early rounds. We found a balance of safe with upside in rounds 4, 5, 6, and then we're just shooting for upside later. Any one of these players could eventually be someone we drop, or they could be someone so good that we have to start them weekly, and that frees us up to trade some of these players to get better players. When you're making trades throughout the year, you want to be making sure you're getting the best player in the trade, and we'll talk about that in another video. Okay, as always, you can check out in the comments the players that I brought up, players that are unsafe in the first rounds, players that have league winning upside in the mid to late rounds, and players that we're avoiding. Check them out.